Some Demons Only Come Out Through Prayer and Fasting by J. Wilburn. Let me see if I can tell you a story today. All right. You're the only Southern Baptist exorcist I could find. Amanda Little said as she led Reverend Ira Nazar into her home. He stopped short of the stained carpet and let his eyes travel the walls and furniture. This looked like the before image of one of those house flipper shows. He didn't spy any roaches, but the evidence of their passing streaked the walls. Let's leave it at that. I don't need to go into more detail about roach poop. I think that's enough information. Amanda said she's back in the bedroom and it's worse than the other times. Ira eyed the woman up and down. She looked young to be the mother of a teen. Okay, he wouldn't say this. What am I doing? Alright, she looked young to be the mother of a teen. Maybe not in this town or this neighborhood, but definitely on average. He shook his head. Hold on, let me have something happen here. A scream echoed out from one of the back halls. All right. Amanda winced. Amanda winced, and Ira felt sorry for all the judgment he'd passed on her and the house. Didn't matter how true it was. Not in a situation like this. He shook his head and blinked a couple times as the scream finally petered out. How many other times? Well, I don't have a solid count, Sir, Reverend, let's do it this way, Pastor, Sir, Reverend, a few times before her father left, and a bunch since. Were they related to trouble in the home? What do you mean? She asked. Like ghosts or hauntings? Something crashed back in the portion of the house where the scream had originated. He couldn't tell if it was glass, blow, guttural, laughing followed. No, ma'am. I mean, did the symptoms appear after you and her daddy fought, or other stressful events? We fought a lot, so she would have been doing it all the time, if that were it. You had her checked by a doctor by chance? Amanda Little sighed. Listen, Sir, Reverend Nazar, I get where you're going with this. We thought it was seizures or brain issues at first, but what? Time's wasting. Tell me. Mental illness doesn't make you levitate in your sleep, she said. Take me to her, Ira ordered. The young mom led him through a maze of interconnecting rooms that made no sense. Windows were boarded. Windows were boarded even when the glass was intact. Light showed between boards, making him think that much of this house was unpermitted additions that were mostly plywood and tin. Amanda opened the door to the bedroom and stepped back. Ira had almost gotten used to the smell until this door opened. He covered his mouth as he entered, but then dropped his hand away as he looked into the twisted face of the young girl standing on the bed. Streaks of blood covered her face and soiled nightclothes. A trio of books sailed across the room and put a hole in the thin walling next to Reverend Nazar's head. Maisie, please, Amanda whispered from a step behind him in the hall. Okay, keep this moving along. Maisie isn't here. Hold on, I think I may have screwed up here. No. Isn't here, you poopy head. Ira narrowed his eyes. Poopy head? Really? The girl backed into the corner and climbed backward up the wall until she pressed into the corner of the cheap ceiling like a lurking spider. Oh, not again. The girl's mom breathed. Yes, not mental illness, Ira said. He raised his voice and his empty hands and shouted at the thing inside Maisie. I'm going to be telling you to come on out. You can put up a fuss about it, but we both know you're coming. So get ready to be evicted, whoever you are. You don't have your faith any longer, Father. So you will say, so this will not end well for you. Amanda whimpered outside the door, outside the bedroom door. Ira dropped his hands and asked, "What the hell do you mean by that?" The girl crawled up onto the ceiling from the wall and stared down at him. Stuff dripped off of her as she said, "What do you mean? Which part?" "The stuff about me losing my faith. I still have my faith." "Where are you getting that from?" The girl shrugged. And said, "I don't know. I was just guessing. It was worth a try." "Well then, in the name of Jesus and the holy..." Okay, hold on. Wait. Wait. The girl, let's just call her Maisie. That's her name. Maisie lowered a couple feet and floated in the air. What now? Ira asked. Surprise, poopy head. She flew at him, but he swatted her aside, putting another large hole in the wall. Amanda screamed and covered her mouth with both hands. Close the door. The pastor ordered. Amanda stopped screaming, but did not move to deal with the door. Trophies spun through the air and shattered against another wall as Ira sidestepped ahead of them. He stumbled and fell to his butt on the carpet. His hand pressed into a wet, sticky patch on the soft floor. He groaned and scrambled to his feet, more concerned with what he'd put his hand in than what was possessing the girl. She flew at him again, and he flipped her over onto the bed. Don't hurt her. Please. Amanda called from the hall. Close the door. Wind ripped through the room in a contained twister. Ira felt the grit from every surface, peppering his lips and eyes. He feared he was going to be possessed by some germ worse than this demon could ever be. Okay, let me do a new paragraph here. A pane of glass popped out from one of the boarded windows. The gaps in the plywood walls widened to harsh slashes. Hold on, let me fix a word here, sorry. These gaps widened harsh slashes of brutal afternoon sun. Can you save her? The mother cried over the wind. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Apparently this story's choking me up. I wasn't expecting it. Can you save her? The mother cried over the wind. Close the door, woman. Listen, if you could wrap this up before the neighbors know something is going on. They love to gossip about me. And let's break. Okay. Close the damn door. Amanda finally complied and cried out all the way back through the house. Maisie rose over the bed and showed her discolored teeth. When Ira was sure the mother was out of earshot, he turned on the levitating girl. Chester, is that you? You asshole. The wind died off and the girl bounced on the bed as she dropped. How could you have possibly known that, Ira? I used different voices and everything. Oh, thanks for the gifted sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All the great support from you. It means a lot. All right. How could you have possibly known that, Ira? I use different voices and everything. Poopy head? Ira asked as he tried to brush the crumbs of filth away from his mouth. Let's just say from his face. Alright. Crumbs and filth away from his face. I don't know. Chester, the demon, said with Maisie Little's mouth. I was trying something new. Demons are always cussing up a storm. You can hear all that stuff on TV now, even during the day. Alright, you can hear all that stuff on TV now, even during the day. I thought going the other way would be more unnerving. You know, defying expectations and all. What are you doing here, Chester? What do you want with this girl in this place? Nothing in particular. You know what it's like for us wandering around without a body. Nothing in particular. You know what it's like for us wandering around without a body. We've talked about this before. So go to a nicer neighborhood, Iris said. You can't like living this way. Maisie looked around and said, "Come on, Ira. You think the upper middle class wouldn't notice a kid being possessed?" Come on. Alright, I guess everybody can see me here. Alright. Had a little bit of a freeze up there, but I think I can still be heard, so I believe everything's still rolling. That is more my computer than it is a Twitch problem, I think. So we'll move along here. Alright, Maisie looked around and said, "Come on, Ira, you think the upper middle class wouldn't notice a kid being possessed? The way some kids act? That's a good point. do you have any suggestions? Yeah, go find a body in another town far away from me. Don't be like that, Ira. You know what it's like for us to try to move to new territory. Demons are mean even to... Thank you, Zach. Demons are mean even to other demons. Yeah, you don't like each other either. Sure. So just go out there and tell her you sent me into some pigs or something, and I'll stay quiet so she doesn't catch on. No dice, Chester. I came all this way. Just have to tell you how much I love the Dead Song books. You are an amazing writer. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. I'm working on the 6th one now. 7th one now. So that should be out maybe by the end of the year. So I'm glad you like those. That's one of the early series, and there's a bunch of them coming. So that's good. It's nice to hear that. It really means a lot you said that. All right. No dice, Chester said. No dice, Chester. I came all this way, and you're getting an exorcism. That just doesn't feel friendly. Ira, we go way back. Because you won't stop possessing all the poor kids in town. Alright, because you won't stop possessing all the poor kids in town. Maisie shrugged and rolled her eyes in a very natural teenage fashion. All right. It's easier when they believe in all this stuff. Well, you might be harder to kick out if you weren't so lazy, Chester. Maisie stared at the pastor with her eyes and mouth open wide. How dare you? I'm as old as creation. You've only been here for the blink of an eye. And yet, you know, I'm going to beat you like every other time. Silence spread out between them. Finally, Ira stood over the girl and lifted his hands. In the name of Jesus. Alright, let's do another break here. Okay. Be cool. I'll go. If you have an option that's acceptable to you, and you'll leave me alone for a while, I'm all ears, preacher. Ira Nazar lowered his arms. If he could get Chester somewhere that didn't involve him, if he could get Chester somewhere that didn't involve him, he wouldn't have to track through disaster zones like this. You okay, Ira? I'm thinking. Hold on. I could tell you where the other demons are hiding out, if that buys me any favor. Hold on. Ira finally snapped his fingers. How about the gerbil? What? You know what I'm talking about. Ira said. That gerbil at the church. You could go into there. You think I want to be a gerbil, Ira? Better than this place, and all you want to do is stop wandering. Will you keep me in your office. Why would you want to be in my office, Chester? I don't know. You could talk to me. I could do tricks. You could read out loud. It would pass the time. And you wouldn't have to keep kicking me out of your congregation all the time. Iris sighed and said, "Fine, we got a deal, but you go straight to the church and don't possess anyone else along the way." Alright, we're almost done with this. Maisie crossed her heart and said, "You have my word." Ira rolled his eyes. "The day I take a demon's word." "Fine. I'll do 3 backflips in my cage when you get there, and you'll know it's me." "Okay, we have a deal then, Chester. And you'll move me into your office." "Sure. By a window where I can see out." "Okay. And keep my cage clean, please." "Chester, get out of that girl now, or I'm casting you into the wastelands again." Maisie saluted Reverend Nazar and winked. Her eyes drifted closed, and she flopped over. After a couple seconds, she sat up and screamed, "What the hell are you doing in my room?" "Casting out demons, Ira said. She squinted at him. He said, "Run on and tell your mother that you're fine now." Ira followed her out through the maze of dark and dirty hallways. He took out his phone and looked up where he could buy more gerbil food and a stronger cage.